Welcome to AGD 2021, the premier meeting for general dentistry. Facebook Live is sponsored by Henry Schein One.
Hi everyone, I'm Rachel Kopchak coming to you live from the premier meeting for general dentistry, AGD 2021, which is happening live here in Austin, Texas at the Austin Convention Center. Now, right now, I am standing outside of the keynote address that is being delivered by motivational speaker Scott Burrows. The theme is Vision, Mindset, Grit. Success strategies to help you stand up to any challenge. Now, Scott's passion for this topic comes from his own personal experiences and multiple life-changing events that really changed the course of his future. Let's take a listen.
Bottoms of your feet. And my answer each and every time was a no, or I'm really not quite sure. And then I felt the most unimaginable excruciating pain come from both sides of my head, real close to my temples. What I didn't realize, my doctors were now placing me in a spinal traction, screwing 2 metal bolts, steel screws into my skull to stabilize my neck. The pain, as you might imagine, was absolutely unbearable. I pleaded for it to stop, and then my vision began to darken slowly, and I thought to myself, you gotta be kidding me. I'm about to die. And all I could simply do was pray for a second chance in life. Well, fortunately, my life was spared, and the news was grim. One morning, Dr. Stringer, my neurosurgeon, said, Scott, a few weeks back, you were involved in a really bad accident. You broke cervical 6 and 7 vertebrae in your neck and have a very bad spinal cord injury, and you've been diagnosed a quadriplegic. Now, right after that diagnosis, my dad, one of my best friends, walked into my room. He walked in that day with a golf club. Well, no, not this golf club. This is one I found on Amazon.com. But the golf club was there to represent something for me to shoot for, knowing I too was an avid golfer. But more importantly, my dad said to me was this. He said, son, look, if you can, let it happen. And what my dad was telling me was this, by not resisting the experience and letting it happen, then you'll find a way to navigate through it successfully. But it's going to take time. Now, I do know you will most likely never experience a situation as transforming as I've just described to you. But I do know that all of you come here today with your own business and life challenges you're trying to overcome. And perhaps in that alone, you and I share something in common. Now, if there's one thing I've learned about adversity, it is this. When it strikes, when it rocks your world, in those moments you have a choice, just like I had a choice when Dr. Stringer first gave me the news. You can choose to be extremely bitter for a long time, or you can strive to be better in the face of adversity by focusing on those things that you can control in your life, your practice, out there within your marketplace, as well as your attitude and your ability to create a spa-like feel within your office to chill the nerves of those patients before you begin one of those surgical procedures, a little drilling in the mouth, right? But the point is, focusing on what you can control while striving to be better and accepting those things you cannot change. That's a mindset. It's a mindset that can create clarity, and that clarity can keep your vision really clear and always in the forefront of your thinking. And what I love about vision is this. It is free, powerful, in the beginning point to your next destination. So now let me ask all of you this question. What is your vision? What are you really fighting for today? Perhaps some of you are looking to grow your practice, attract new clients, or maybe looking for different ways to create that unique patient experience. And other of you here today who are recent college grads, you're in residency, you're accumulating student debt, maybe you're trying to think of a plan to pay it off quicker so you can get into a private practice and hire the right team around you to run it efficiently. Once you know what you're fighting for, okay? Your purpose, your why you do what you do for a living. Even if you enjoy mentoring new dentists, get ready to see complete success in your mind's eye first. Always begin with the end in mind. Reason being, rarely is life a straight line, right? A lot of times it's met with unexpected change, doubt, uncertainty, and fear. I mean, for me, my vision, my dream of one day coming out of this wheelchair, that came to a complete stop in one 45-day period of time. 10 days or so after I broke my neck, I came down with a severe case of pneumonia, followed by a 103-degree fever. A few days later, I lost my breath. My right lung had collapsed. And then I watched my body weight plummet by 40 pounds. And as I was literally fighting the fight of my life just to stay alive, one of my doctors walked in and said, look, the oxygen levels in your red blood cell count, they have plummeted, and they are dangerously low. We need to get a large quantity into your system of pure oxygen in the next 24 hours. 2 ways to do it. Hook you up to a machine to breathe for you. Requires a little surgery, drilling a hole right here into your throat. Or we could put a mask over your face, Scott, and you can do it on your own. But there is a catch. You ever notice there's always a catch when it comes to someone else's ideas? He said you need to stay awake for the next 24 hours. Stay awake and monitor every single breath to ensure you're bringing in as much pure oxygen as possible. Then he turned around, walked out of that room, looked back at me and said this, I'll give you 10 minutes to decide what you want to do. 10 minutes. Sometimes in life, in business, we have to make quick decisions, don't we? Yes or no? But why can't we make more of those decisions quicker? Why do we have to think and worry so much? That, my friends, that goes back to mindset, okay? But what is mindset? If you really think about it, it's your own philosophy of life. It's how you see things through your own life experience, and most importantly, it's how you respond, okay? It's how you respond to a new business, marketing, or dental challenge, your next setback. And it's how you respond to the changing landscape of the dental industry, as well as regulation, the confusion and complexity of billing. And it's how you respond to some of those insurance companies who are forcing your practice to bundle procedures and only to pay you the lesser amount. The way I responded to this challenge was by my willingness just to stand up to it, metaphorically speaking. And I realized if I wasn't willing to do that, I'd be risking so much more. So have you know this? It literally turned out to be one of the longest 24 hours of my life, fighting for every deep breath, of every second, of every minute, on the hour, and so forth. In the wee hours of the morning, I started thinking a lot about my friend Ed, the one who was driving the car. I learned he survived. Bumps and bruises, a torn ACL in one of his knees. I also learned that 2 other friends of ours were out that night on a scavenger hunt for firewood, just like we were, to keep our bonfire burning throughout the night. And they witnessed the entire accident. Now, once they got Ed out of the car, they approached my side. I was still sitting in the upright position like I am right now. I was hunched over, unconscious, and I was literally covered in blood. Truth be told, we were a long ways from civilization, and that's when they made the executive decision to pull me out of that car that night to take me to the closest hospital, 50 miles away. And in doing so, they noticed something. They noticed I was not wearing a seatbelt. And I suppose you can say my split-second decision not to pay attention to safety, in this case, buckling up, most likely was a contributing factor that left me paralyzed from my chest down and diagnosed a quadriplegic. And I can tell you this, when I crossed that imaginary finish line with every last ounce of grit that this weakened body could muster, I came to believe this. I came to believe that you cannot always choose the precise outcomes of the choices that you make in your life, in your office, but you can always take accountability of those outcomes. As you continue to lead, act, and deliver the best dental health care possible to your patients. And this is when I made the decision to take ownership over what happened to me, as opposed to putting all of the blame on my friend Ed. And in doing so, I can tell you this, it became a defining moment in my life that allowed me to let it happen, to let go of the past, to focus on the now, and to begin the fight of a lifetime. Now, to put this into perspective, what I would like all of you to do right now is replicate what I'm doing. I want you to hold your right arm out, straight forward like you're sleepwalking, okay? Now relax your wrist. When your wrist is in the downright position, do you notice there's a gap between your index finger and thumb? Yes or no? Come on, I can't hear you. Yes or no? Awesome. Here's the tough part. Curl your fingertips in about an inch. Okay? Now extend your wrist into the upright position. Now when you do some of you notice how your index finger and thumb come a little closer together, if not touch? Yes or no? Now relax your wrist. What happens? They separate, right? Bring them back up, closer together. Now do me a favor, you can relax your wrist. You can relax your arms. So here's my point. By spending time with Leslie, my physical therapist, she would say this. She would say, Scott, if you are willing to adapt and be more flexible than ever before, given your new set of circumstances, and if you're willing to be open to the idea of doing things differently, you can always change the direction and the outcome of your life. And then she said this, each and every morning, afternoon, at night, I want you to focus while you're lying there, unable to move, focus on trying to move your right wrist. And I did for days on end, and I experienced nothing. Then one morning, I decided to focus in ways that I've never focused before, and believe it or not, the darn thing moved about 1/8 of an inch. Not a lot. But over the coming weeks, as I continued to focus on it, my range of motion increased. And it allowed two independent, paralyzed fingers, my index finger and thumb, to come together as one, as a team. Allow me to pick up a plastic fork and a straw. You know, the necessities of the good life. And then something occurred to me. I started believing in my mind that no matter how difficult life will most likely be for me going forward, in my mind, I just started believing in a sense that everything would be okay.
Thanks for watching AGD Facebook Live, which is sponsored by Henry Schein 1. We'll be back live a little bit later this evening at the President's Welcome Reception with a fun look at the entertainment and networking and all of the excitement of being here at AGD 2021.